Chevy Trucks Shooting Sports America. Brought to you by Chevy Trucks, Browning, and Federal.
While clay target shooting has its roots in international competition, the game of skeet is as American as apple pie and Chevy Trucks. Indeed, for many Americans, shooting at clay targets is synonymous with the word skeet. So stay tuned as we get ready to watch the very best skeet shooters from here and abroad as they compete in the 1994 World Skeet Championships. Hi, I'm Gresham, shooting editor of Sports Afield magazine, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this edition of Chevy Trucks Shooting Sports America. We're here at the National Gun Club at San Antonio, Texas, for the 1994 World Skeet Shooting Championships. Close to 1,000 shooters, both men and women, are competing here this year. And joining me to cover the action is fellow Sports Afield editor Tom Gresham. One thing that sets skeet apart from other clay target games is that this is truly a game of perfection. At this level of competition, you really have to shoot a perfect score just to get into the final shoot-offs.
No question about it. Here at the World Championship, an almost perfect score really translates into an also-ran performance. And that's true even for the event that we're going to be covering, the 28-gauge championship. The 28 is a real pipsqueak when compared to a 12-gauge shell, the kind used in trap shooting and sporting clays. To start off, the 28 has about half the number of pellets in the shell as its big brother, the 12-gauge. In skeet, there are events in all gauges, 12, 20, 28, and 410. And when it comes to the small gauges, shooters are left with no margin of error.
We've got some great shooting coming up, but before the final shoot-offs begin, we had a chance to take a closer look at the game of skeet, talk to some of the top competitors, and even get a lesson from one of the greatest skeet shooters of all time, Wayne Mays. Wayne has won just about everything there is to win in skeet, including the high overall here at the World Championships 4 times. And he's broke 100 straight with a small 410 bore 114 times. What have you been doing lately, Wayne?
Well, during that run of the 410s this year, I set a new world long run record of 777.
Fantastic. Now, this is an American game. How did it get started?
Well, years and years ago, as the game first started, I mean, people that hunted a lot, bird hunted, duck hunted through the wintertime didn't really have anything to do in the summer. And of course, they liked to shoot their guns, so they developed this game of skeet to give them a summertime shooting sport.
Some of our viewers may not know exactly how American skeet is shot. What is the layout here?
Well, you have two houses with a semicircle running from one to the other. You have a high house, a low house, so you've got a lot of different angles of targets. You've got 8 different stations, and as you move around the circle, the leads that you have to put on the bird change, from close angles to wide angles, and that way you never just really have one type of shot.
What are some of the basics in skeet shooting that you teach your students?
Well, there's 3 basic things that you should do without even thinking about: your foot position, your hold points, and where you're looking for the target. Those things should come just about automatic. Concentration is very important. It's probably the hardest thing to do.
Well, I know some of these shooters hope you save some of the targets for them, but best of luck in this competition.
Well, thank you very much.
There's a psychological side to every sport, and in skeet, it involves total concentration on every target, shot after shot.
It's a mental game, basically. Once you learn the basics of the game, it's keeping your concentration and being able to concentrate one target at a time for 100 targets. It's a one-target event. You have to shoot 100 targets, but one at a time.
Well, it's a tough game, and you just have to keep your head down all the time. And most times you'll have a tendency to pick it up on one of them birds that goes up in the air on you or dives under your barrel.
But when you're on your game, those targets just turn to dust. Skeet shooting is by no means a men's only game. Indeed, one of the very best skeet shooters in the country, man or woman, is 15-year-old Kimberly Rohde. Tom had a chance to talk with this remarkable young athlete.
Kimberly Rohde is the defending women's American Skeet champion. She's won hundreds of trophies and set a number of world records. And Kimberly, you're only 15 years old. How in the world did you come so far so fast?
Well, a lot of practice, shooting every day and every night. Just a lot of work to it. I shoot about 1,000 rounds in about 4 different sports every week. You mainly think of the leads, what you're going to be doing, your foot stance, if it's windy, you know if it's going to be dropping or going up. Basically, just the basic stuff, you know.
Well, now that you've made the U.S. shooting team, you're going to be trying to make the team to get to the Olympics in Atlanta. So what are you doing to work on that?
I'm shooting a lot of double trap bunker on the bunker field and traveling with the U.S. team, practicing with them.
Kimberly, you've been able to do some amazing things in a short period of time. Congratulations and good luck in the future.
Thank you.
In most sports, you can make up lost ground. For example, in golf, by shooting a birdie right after a bogey. But make a misstep in this game, and you'll likely be catching the early plane home.
The thing about skeet is that you cannot, at the high level, the AAA level, you cannot make a mistake. If you make one mistake, you're out of the competition.
In each gauge, 4 rounds of 25 targets each are shot. 100 is the perfect score.
The toughest part in breaking 100 straight, I think, is keeping that level of concentration up that's required to get all the way through it. There's always one that'll bite you.
The toughest thing about breaking 100 straight is pure concentration throughout the whole event.
Of course, the very best competitors rarely drop a target at all, especially when the pressure is on.
In this championship, I'm really doing quite well. In the 550 targets so far in the tournament, I've only missed one.
It's turning into a tight race. So stay tuned and we'll be right back with the 28 gauge shoot-off round.
And now a shooting tip from Tom Gresham, brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation.
You know, accuracy with a rifle depends as much on you, the shooter, as it does the rifle itself. It's important to have your rifle sighted in here at the bench from a solid rest. But after that, you want to practice the kinds of shooting positions you're likely to be using in the field. The offhand or standing position is really the most difficult. That's why you need to practice it. The keys to accurate shooting in the offhand position are good balance with weight forward and a firm but not a white knuckle grip on the forearm. Also, understand that you can't hold these sights rock steady in this offhand position. You're just not going to be as steady as you are from the shooting bench. Because the rifle isn't going to be perfectly steady, the goal is to squeeze slowly and apply the last bit of trigger pressure when the sights are on target. One of my favorite shooting positions is sitting. That's because it's quick and exceptionally steady. You basically build a support out of solid bone rather than shaky muscle. With elbows on knees, you lock in and squeeze off the shot. So remember, sighting in from the bench is only the first step. Be sure to practice those positions that you're liable to be using in the field.
Even the approach of a Texas-sized storm front with high winds and rain didn't dampen the enthusiasm or competitive spirit of these shooters. Conditions grew worse as the day wore on. Nonetheless, a remarkable number of perfect scores were turned in. In the 28 gauge event today, there were more than 80 perfect rounds of 100. To the first shoot-off, we're down to an even dozen, and they're going to shoot those from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th stations, doubles.
That's right. They shoot from the toughest stations here. That's the only way they can separate these shooters. At this level, they are so good, they've got to shoot doubles from 3, 4, and 5 stations, which is really tough, particularly in these conditions. It's really getting nasty out here.
Yeah, when you get under the lights and with the rain coming down like it is now, it's going to be tough.
Right, we get rain on the glasses, you get a little glare off the glasses. It only takes one missed target and you're out of here. The truth is, these fellas are shooting on the edge of a hurricane coming off of the Pacific. And that's why these conditions have dropped so quickly. The fellas that shot in the morning had great conditions. It's just like a completely different game shooting out here this evening. All right, we're down to 6 now. Now it really gets tough because the nerves start to work on you. That's a Larry Wu from Michigan. Watch how he stands there. He gets up there, he's very upright, he stands and just becomes motionless before he calls for the bird. But he makes it work.
Yes, he does. Here's Wayne Mays. His rhythm is so distinctive.
All right, Todd Bender. No problem. Todd's shooting very quick on those birds. He's breaking them very aggressively.
Yes, he is.
Shooting on that tough station number 4 where they're taking that low house first. Oh, no, Todd Bender. He missed that one.
Just lost that second bird.
Now we're down to only 3 shooters coming to station number 4. David Ionic. Dave's hanging in there. Larry Wu. Wu didn't have any trouble there. Here comes Wayne. The end of 25 birds. They'll take a break, and they're going to come back and start shooting again.
Yeah, from more than 80 perfects, we came down to a dozen, and now we're down to 3.
Here we are at the final station. This has really gotten to be interesting.
It has. We're down to 3 people, and they are a different breed.
That's right. We've got Wayne Mays, who's won everything there is to win in skeet. Larry Wu, who's an All-American. And a dark horse, David Ivanek, who shoots with Larry Wu, but who a lot of people around here are wondering who the heck is this guy?
Yeah, you must know the pressure that he's feeling out there with these 2 All-Americans.
Absolutely.
And what they do here, they go into this second series. They shoot the same series that they shot before. They shoot from stations 3, 4, and 5, and they shoot doubles from all of them. This is a sudden death event. 1 miss and you're out.
That's right. The first target you miss, you just turn around and leave the field, because you're gone.
And that's exactly what happened to David Ivanek when he missed 1 target of a tough, wind-driven pair. Nevertheless, it was a great run for David, who had battled through the pressure of a long shoot-off in tough conditions to take 3rd place. As it eventually had to, this championship race came down to a 2-man standoff, each shooter waiting for the other to blink. Larry and Wayne began their next series, each smoking their target from station 3. And it looked like these 2 great shooters might be at it all night. But on the very next station, Wayne missed his 2nd target. Tough break for Wayne, but that miss gave the 28 gauge championship crown to Larry Wu. Larry, great performance. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You won this 28 gauge championship in an extended playoff, and it was an amazing accomplishment.
It sure was. Anytime you're shooting against Wayne Mays, you're in there for a duration.
Beating Wayne Mays and doing it in these nearly impossible conditions, this is one championship Larry will never forget. Coming up next, the latest Champion of Champions event from Houston, Texas.
And now a shooting tip from Grits Gresham, brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Sighting in your rifle, believe it or not, can be as easy as 1, 2. That's the number of shots you'll need. It's a method I've been using for a long time, and it's really easy. Here's how to do it. With your target out at 100 yards, aim carefully at the bullseye and squeeze off a shot. Then, aiming at that same bullseye again, have a buddy adjust your crosshairs until they're on the bullet hole. Go up, up, up. That's good. Now right, a little more. That's got it. Now your scope crosshairs are aiming where the bullet hole is. So rifle and scope are pointing at the same spot. That's all there is. You can make another shot to verify that you've gotten the job done, and additional shots will fine-tune your point of impact. But for a quick method, this can't be beat.
Hi, I'm Tom Gresham, Arms and Ammo Editor for Sports Afield magazine. We're here at the American Shooting Centers in Houston, Texas for the first annual Champion of Champions Invitational, a unique sporting clays event that will determine America's top female shotgun shooter. The best of the best among women shotgun shooters from around the country have been invited to this special event. And joining me to talk about some of these competitors is Sue King, Director of the Women's Shooting Sports Foundation. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Tom.
You know, it's tough to know where to begin when you're talking about these because any one of these shooters could end up winning this thing.
That's right, Tom. Just look at Brandy Jacobs of Rio Vista, California. She was high overall champion at last year's NSCA U.S. Open and also took top honors in the 5-stand event. It's no wonder that she's been named to the 1994 NSCA Ladies All-American team.
And looking over Brandy's record, I see she's won a remarkable 20 of 23 shoot-offs she's been in. Katie Scahill won her first national title in 1992 at the USSCA Nationals and has taken top lady honors in the 9 state championships over the past 2 years.
And Katie represented the United States at both the 1992 and 1993 World Sporting Clays Championships. Sherry Legate of Peyton, Colorado, is currently a member of the U.S. Olympic shooting team and competes both in double strap and international skeet. She took a silver medal in double strap at the World Cup held just a few months ago, and last year won the gold in trap at the U.S. Olympic Festival.
Sandy Nail hails from Pinehurst, Texas, and has been an active competitor since 1985. She won the Ladies Sporting Clays National Championships in 1987, 1988, and 1989.
In fact, Sandy just may have won more Sporting Clays titles over the years than any other woman shooter. Linda Joy is one of the finest natural shooters in the country. In 1989, her first year of shooting, she won 7 medals at the World Skeet Championships. In addition to a variety of skeet titles, Linda has recently been shooting a lot of Sporting Clays, making the top 10 shoot-off in last year's NSCA Championships.
Sue, this looks like an exceptionally great field here. Do you have any predictions?
I wouldn't dare make a prediction, Tom. We've got some of the finest women shooters in the country here, and if I name the wrong one, the rest of them would be really mad at me.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that one.
The Texas weather was not cooperating for this event, with gusts over 25 miles an hour causing targets to dance and dive in the wind.
The weather conditions are a little rough. The wind might rain, but all that does is it makes it a lot more exciting, makes you work harder for that target.
It's pretty nerve-wracking shooting with the top women in the Sporting Clays event because you know that there are no gimmies.
All systems are go for shooting. The targets are very challenging today.
Well, Sue, the Champion of Champions event really is just the tip of the iceberg here, isn't it?
That's right, Tom. And in addition to our Champion of Champions, we have probably 250, maybe 260 other women who are not top-notch competition shooters, but who are novices and beginners and who are just getting into the sport.
Well, if a woman is getting started in shooting, what advice would you give the beginner?
Well, my first piece of advice to the beginning woman shooter is don't take lessons from your husband. Find a good instructor who is sympathetic to women's needs. The second piece of advice would be to find a woman-friendly club.
That sounds great.
Well, what about equipment for women?
And I think the most important piece of equipment that a woman uses in this game is her shotgun. This is the Women's Shooting Sports Foundation 325 Sporting Clays gun. The design of the forearm and the overall dimensions of the stock and the way the stock has been cast has been done to suit a woman's physical needs.
Well, that's really something. You know, this is so pretty, and the way it's designed, maybe even I could hit some targets with it.
I don't know that I would want to bet on that, Tom, but we'll let you try sometime.
Thanks. These top women shooters typically do not compete on the same squad. How do they feel about that?
Well, I shoot in a lot of events where there are a lot of top women shooters. What's unusual about this format is that you're shooting on the same squad together. Because if you see someone miss a target, it might make you think it's hard. It's an important shoot because there are so many women here, but it's more importantly a fun shoot for us all to get together and support one another and support the cause.
We'll be right back with the championship round. Sporting Clays is a tough game in the best conditions, but with the winds today, these targets can easily become twice as hard to hit. The course for this Champion of Champions event is a classic English Sporting Clays design, with competitors shooting from 10 different stations at a total of 50 targets. At each station, shooters face an entirely different challenge, with double targets thrown from different directions, angles, and elevations, whether clay targets zipping high overhead or hard left or right crossing shots. As expected, it's been a tight race. Coming into the last station, Linda Joy is in the lead, having dropped only 3 targets, but only 2 back is veteran competitor Sandy Nail. In third place, West Coast shooter Mary Ellen Hamilton. On the last station, shooters face a pair of going-away targets that dip and dive in this Texas wind. The shooters are now on the last station where the championship will be decided. This is Mary Ellen Hamilton, a veteran shooter from California. She comes into the last station 7 targets down, which really gives her no chance for first place. But she's shooting for, my goodness, she has gone straight on the final station here. She went 6 for 6. That's Mary Ellen Hamilton from California. She did a great job. All right, we got Sandy Nail coming up. Andy went into the last station. Linda Joy is 3 down. Sandy is 5 down. Sandy really has to take all these targets to have a realistic chance for taking first place. Sandy dropped that first one. That first target is moving to the left. The wind's going right to left. And they have to take that target before it gets away from her, so she's shooting very quickly on that first one so she can move back to the target on the right before it gets away. All right, she took both of those. She's got 2 more here. If she gets both of those, she's got a chance to stay in there at first place. Oh my goodness, Sandy dropped both of those birds on the last. There's just an incredible amount of pressure. Sandy is a real veteran of the sporting clay circuit. She won the national championship in 87, 88, and 89. She's been helpful to a lot of young shooters over the years. So it looks like Sandy will be in second place. All right, up in the box we have Linda Joy, who really is a relative new shooter. She only started in this game in 1989, and she has done incredibly well since then. She has won a stack of medals and trophies. She has only dropped 3 targets coming into this last station, and it looks like she's going to be our winner. Let's see what she can do with these very difficult targets here. She looks like her rhythm is smooth. She's staying in there. It's all mental at this point. All of you shooters can break these targets. It comes down to the mental aspect. Smoked both of those. Linda's really shooting well. All right. And Linda Joy is the winner of the Champion of Champions event. She has done it. Congratulations. That was great. You went straight on that last one. What were you thinking?
Please God, don't make me miss.
Well, that's just terrific. You're the first champion of the Champion of Champions event. Congratulations. What do you think?
I think it's great. I don't even know what to say. I think it's fantastic.
Well, congratulations, Linda. We have Ron Moser here, the Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing of Browning, to make a little presentation.
Linda, Browning is extremely happy to present you with this brand new golden clay sky.
Thank you.
Fantastic shooting.
Oh, thank you. This is beautiful.
So, it's Linda Joy, the 1994 Champion of Champions. Well, we hope you enjoyed our show and you join us next time on Chevy Trucks Shooting Sports America.
Chevy Trucks Shooting Sports America, brought to you by Ruger, Weatherby, and Winchester.